Greetings and blessings to all my listeners and viewers on Fit FM 96.7, Facebook, YouTube, the World Wide Web, and most of all, the Primal 4K family. I want to welcome you all to Primal Sports Center. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Kane the Shop Watson. And it's that time again, Dale.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a jam-pack lineup. I mean, we have the NBA to talk about, some Jamaican basketball news as well. Football is buzzing. I mean, not only in club football, but international football, where Jamaica played 2 matches over the course of the week. Also, we have some French Open news, and our mother sport, table tennis.
Yes.
I mean, we have an interesting round-up, and at midway point, we'll have the controversial boss himself. And we'll steal his thunder, because we know what we're going to talk about, specifically with the reggae boys and the table tennis.
Yes.
Yes, because we know where him always lean to, but probably have some UFC news for us later on as well, because he claimed to be a martial arts
jiu-jitsu master, yeah.
Jiu-jitsu master. Oh,
yeah.
Never seen him actually, but I mean, I would take his word for it. I know him nimble around the table tennis board, so I wouldn't be surprised if him know at least a chop blocker or something.
Yeah.
But you kick things off, as you know,
yeah.
NBA. As you know, we make our predictions week in, week out, and it's coming to a spicy close.
Yeah.
Where the NBA Finals is on the horizon, which will start next week. The Western Conference is wrapped up, but before we jump on the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference is in a testy game 6 where I feel the winner of this game will move on to the NBA Finals.
Okay.
And I already picked Indiana Pacers from previous weeks, and I don't see that changing today. But I like how New York Knicks responded.
What time is match tonight? 7?
7.
7 o'clock.
You sound excited. You sound like you're still sticking with the Knicks.
Of course, I'm still going with the Knicks.
Yeah.
I can't leave. I
You know
can't
we don't
jump the
switch.
ship.
Yeah,
I can't jump the ship.
We
I
don't
can't.
jump ship.
Yeah. But New York.
New York.
New York.
I'm
Yeah,
sticking
man.
with Indiana. And you know Indiana is a better equipped team.
The better rounded team.
Yeah, better rounded team.
I'm not sure about equipped, but the better rounded
they have
team.
more ammunition, so that's what I mean.
Yeah, but
sorry for the
you have the pie and you have the boom. New York have the
1-2
boom.
punch.
Them have the boom. And you have the
Tones have the
pie. You have the pie.
Yeah, but it depends on close range.
Yeah.
If the close range, which Indiana making it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 1-2 punch of Towns and Brunson is playing high-level basketball all series. Towns
Stepping up.
Yeah. I gotta say, I always saying Towns disappear, but he has a talent. But in this series, he's averaging probably 25 points, 12 rebounds. I mean, sometimes getting a bit of early foul trouble. Not too much to the Knicks fans liking, but in the clutch, third, fourth quarter, I mean, he has stepped up in the past 2 games, the whole series, but the past 2 games specifically, to respond to get a road win in Indiana and then carry it back home and get another win. We know Brunson is the glue to that team, and he's going to have his output, although given one of the matches he had foul trouble. But I mean, that 1-2 punch is proving problem for the Pacers, but overall, I think today Pacers will run away with it, run riot.
You think they're going to run away with it? I think it all depends on how the game starts. If Towns start aggressive in the paint,
he's going to get in early foul trouble.
I
think it depends on how they manage the middle part of the game. The end of the second half, starting at the third quarter. Yeah, so that's where I think the game will probably be decided. Although Pacers can get off to a quick start, and that
that's
home
it.
crowd.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The New York and Towns have to get up. Towns especially. Forget Brunson. I know him can get his own. But Towns, for me,
because
him have to start the game. Him have to start the game aggressive.
But the game that New York won in Indiana was up 20 points.
Yeah, but
New York responded. But as I said, I agree because this is a close-up game. Different circumstances. They know what's on the line.
Yes.
Indiana won't let up. What's his name?
Halliburton.
Naismith got an injury, and then momentum shifted right away to New York. Although Town stepped up, made a couple timely shots. I mean, got some fouls and ones, rebounds, pushing the pace because Brunson was in foul trouble that game. So that was a momentum shift for the series because I thought it was over.
Yeah.
We thought it was over.
Yeah.
Knicks responded in that game, and that game pushed the series to now where we're at. Game 6, prime time in Indiana. I don't see Indiana losing this game.
Well, as I say, I know.
So what do you say Knicks have to do to win this game?
As I said, Towns for me, it's just Towns. It's just him. Once him campaign more in the paint, I think it's a wrap. I think if he play that style, of being more aggressive, going in the paint, collecting the ball closer to the rim. I think he's more impactful that way, because now you have to start to think to double team him over the period, over time. No, but when him start doing that late, you can get them in foul trouble much
I don't like
earlier.
when him just settle for 3-point.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And the outside, yeah.
I mean, you can take 1 and 2 3-pointers, but don't live by it. And we see where these teams that advance throughout the playoffs, as I said, you like the mid-range and going to the rim.
Yeah.
And that recipe is for winning.
The mid-range is back.
Yeah.
It's
Shea,
man, the mid-range
Brunson,
game is back.
I mean,
it's a common sense way of playing the basketball. You have way more options when you can pull up in the mid-range. Because if you're playing, if you're playing basketball and somebody have a good mid-range jump shot, you can't play him too close and you can't play too far. And then from that you can create even more space, for your teammates. And first of all, it's very hard. It is very hard to stop a player from taking a mid-range shot. You know that?
I think, I know.
It's the most difficult shot to guard.
Especially on the dribble.
Yes.
I mean,
you can pull up on a dime.
Pull up on a dime, and then these guys have a vertical of 40 inches
exactly
up.
my point. But
especially with a field, how do you defend that? I know the referee is going to protect you. You can't face guard and touch like back in the day.
Yeah.
So that shot definitely is the toughest shot to guard. So,
but
that's
overall,
the recipe for winning.
Yes, that's the recipe for winning. But overall, I said with New York, the Towns have to start strong. I think once Towns starts strong, I think New York will win this game. I think they will win this game going away as well.
Well, you're saying what Knicks has to do. What does Indiana now has to do? Push tempo. They
have to play fast. They have to play fast. They can't allow. They can't allow New York to control the pace of the game. In terms of half-court game, they have to play up and down. Once it's a half-court game, I think Indiana is in trouble. Yeah, but
Knicks, and then now for Indiana to not play at that pace, Knicks defense has to step up. And you point out to Towns on the offensive end, but also I think Knicks overall as a defensive unit, the only way they can stay in the game, people like Josh Hart, OJ Anunoby, have to come up with those rebounds and steals, limit the second chance points, and some easy points for the Towns and the Brunsons and Mikal Bridges, make it easier. Because OG playing good defense. Josh Hart is 6'5", grabbing 10 rebounds a game. But that intensity that he brings to the team also is key for me for New York. But Indiana, deep 1 through 8, 9 at home, game 6, know that the NBA finals are looming. I think they win by double digits today.
I don't think so, because
I think it's going to be a close game.
It's in New York. I think they did it in the last game to an extent. If how you slow down Indiana is by pressing. Not allowing Halliburton to just have a free dribble down the court.
Yeah, a running start.
You can't give him a running start. So what they're going to do, they're going to play high press. Yeah. Meaning from the get-go with it, once Halliburton have the ball, a man is on him. Yeah. And then Indiana will have to disrupt their offensive scheme, because the big have to come up and set a screen to alleviate the pressure that the defender is putting on Halliburton from top of the court.
But there's more pressure on Knicks, because Indiana's going to run.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you slow down the run. By pressing up court. That's why you're going to slow them down. You cannot allow Halliburton.
Whether you miss or make the shot, you have to press
high press. As him get the ball from the outer bound and get the ball, you have to be on him. You cannot allow him that free run. Like LeBron, you could not allow LeBron a free run from half court that's coming down at you. No. So you have them have to play high. Them have to play high in this game.
And the referee I think the referee going to be pivotal as well.
Yeah, because they're going to set illegal screens and them
they make one and two tiki-taki calls, especially on Towns, because Towns always get in foul trouble. Towns are probably Josh Hart or OG. Two of them get in foul trouble. I think that's it for Knicks all alone. We see some bench players, Thibodeau making some moves and playing a deeper rotation where we see like Delon Wright and Shamet and
I don't know why Shamet and these guys not getting them getting minutes, right?
They're getting minutes.
I'm telling you,
giving Brunson time to rest.
All these guys can play. They're NBA players. Why you have them? Why you have them on bench?
You can't stick to a 6-man rotation or a 7-man rotation where you're going to put McBride and Mitchell Robinson in the game. No. You have to extend the rotation and let them get some minutes and play defense.
And all those guys can do. All those guys, Shamet and all them can play defense.
You can't expect Towns to play 45 minutes.
Reflecting back in the pass. That's what you do. We're mentioning how we're going to slow down Indiana. I
No,
remember.
you go slow down.
Yeah. I remember Scottie Pippen, 1991 finals against Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
After Magic destroyed MJ.
Yeah.
In the first, there was we're 1-love up. The second match, you know what Scottie did? And you know Magic Johnson is like Halliburton in terms of speed and pick him up full court.
Early. Yeah.
Honed him from
Sacrifice.
man. Scottie Pippen pick him up from the minute Magic get the ball. Scottie was on him, and that was the series changed 4 straight after that. 4 straight. So I think Halliburton is a typical point guard. A point guard, not the modern day point guard, the old time type of point guard. So as that you have to do to him, and then him very quick. You have to slow him down. And so once you disrupt him,
the whole offense.
The offense is going to be in trouble.
He's the
man.
The maestro.
He's the engine.
Yeah,
he's the engine. He's the engine. Yeah, man. So I tell him, Knicks is going to win this game, man.
Knicks is going to win this game.
Knicks going to win this game.
I don't see Knicks winning this game.
Yeah, man. Once the coach.
Double-digit point.
No, man. Knicks winning this game, man.
People, I'm Primal.
Yeah. Knicks.
Although from the other day, people been giving me slack that my predictions been
off.
wayward.
Yeah,
even
man.
the Champions League final now, we see PSG up 2-love in the second half, and I pick Inter to win. I know Fraggy don't.
So Fraggy gonna say I have one up on you again.
More than one. No, I go and hear it later.
Yeah.
But that is currently going on. Let's go Inter, try rally back and make it an interesting final. But PSG playing top football. But back to NBA. Yeah.
All right.
So Knicks Pacers game 6, and said for instance, Knicks win this game. Knicks win the series.
Obviously.
Can't go back to home and
You're
lose.
going home in
that
front
would
of.
be a heartbreak.
No, man. It's over, man. It's over. It's over.
So Knicks winning these. Knicks down 3-1 winning 3 games
yeah,
off the
man.
track.
Historic comeback.
Remember, it's not Doc Rivers coaching Pacers, you know.
Huh?
It's not Doc Rivers coaching Pacers.
No, watch the coach, man.
But you
watch
know,
the coach.
Previously on Prime, we said Rick Carlisle is a big coach.
Is a big coach. Tom Thibodeau is a big coach too.
Yeah.
You know, but they both Thibodeau is more a defensive coach. You know, Rick is more all rounded to me.
Yeah.
You know, offensive and defensive. Yeah, so it's 2 good coaches. But at the end of the day, New York latch on to something tactically.
Yeah.
So I think them gonna.
You think they make that tactical switch?
Of course.
Let's see if Indiana.
And I said once they don't get in foul trouble and
they're going to come in something again today. Somebody going to step up. I think today
it's Pascal. Well, no,
Pascal?
it have to be Pascal for Indiana.
Yeah. Well, I think Nemad going to step up today.
Nemad
going to step up today.
Good player.
Nemad going to step up.
Good
Probably
player.
go hit like 3-3-pointers, time 3-pointers, open up the lead. I know Pascal.
He's more of a mid-range player still. You know.
No, but him can shoot the three.
Him can shoot three. Right. Well, you going with Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Knicks.
I mean, we know New York has Jamaican ties.
Yeah.
The diaspora in New York is big. We
Patrick-
all have family that live in New York or visited New York. So we all, and then Patrick Ewing from back in the day, Patrick Ewing left Jamaica at probably age 13.
You never have the shoes.
No.
I had the Ewings.
You got the Ewing.
With the little red ball at the side.
I thought they were ugly, to tell you the truth.
No, but you still have to rock them.
sure.
You know, the Jordan them never look good either.
I've never worn Jordan before.
Yeah, but the Ewings, them, everybody,
never
every
wear
Jamaican.
Jordan.
Peter, you have a Ewing? You must have a Ewing, man. No, yeah. Yes, man.
Yeah,
And you pump it up before you go up on the court, you know?
So what Peter do that Ewing? What Peter wear Ewing go?
Come play volleyball, you know?
Volleyball. Oh yes, we get him still play volleyball.
Yeah, represent Teachfield.
Back in the day.
Was a libero, right?
No, you're a libero.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was a setter.
Setter.
Yeah, I was a setter.
Wow.
With those cat-like reflexes. How could we think anything otherwise? Yeah, but Ewing, Patrick Ewing and Jamaican ties, so most of Jamaica going with New York. And hey, if New York had a better
You're just
team,
going with a better
I just
team
go
in
with a
your
better
mind.
team. In my mind, I think
Yeah.
I'm going with the better
Indiana, the more rounded team, I should say.
Don't give me people if you cheer for New York, don't give me slack. I have
Yeah.
no dog
Yeah.
in the race. I have no hey, but I think Indiana is a better team and will pull out the victory today. And I think that will set up a interesting finals.
Yeah, so-
Even though New York versus OKC for the big market, New York and the Buzz, 2 small markets, Indiana and OKC to the finals. But one thing for sure, OKC is there. OKC is waiting. They wrapped up their series 4-1. I mean, Minnesota responded with a Game 3 blowout victory.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the only game they could have possibly won,
Yeah.
which they did. I thought it was probably even a sweep, but hey, They got the gentleman sweep forehand, and OKC was just definitely better than Minnesota.
Yeah, man.
And it's the best team in the league. Surprisingly, I wouldn't say surprisingly, Denver pushed them to a 7-game series, and they're defending home court. And
I don't know why you said that back in. I think it was a surprise that Denver won so many games.
I think that is a surprise OKC won the series. I was going with Denver. I think Denver injuries played a pivotal role.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then with Westbrook as the...
That's what I'm saying. That should not be a surprise.
Factor.
That should not be a surprise.
Factor,
I was wondering how Denver was going to win one match. That's what I was thinking. You know.
Nah, but you're watching matches. All the matches
but Aaron Gordon with a little lucky three at the end. And, you know,
no, it was a big three. It wasn't lucky three.
The luck run out at the end of the day.
shot was more of a luck.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon shot was a sniper shot. And he did it before, remember?
Well,
So... He came up trumps.
Well, but OKC for sure, though.
OKC is the best
Hands
team
down
in
is the
league.
best team.
I don't see them losing.
I held to Boston, even though I don't like how Boston play. That's probably the only team I think could rival, could really give them that competition in the finals. I don't think Indiana or New York have a chance against this team.
No, I don't see that. And that showed in the Minnesota series where they were just outclassed.
Yeah.
Apart from that one match at Minnesota when they were against the ball, I mean, almost every play.
Yeah, and
Anthony Edwards played in spurts. I mean, Gobert. I mean, Julius Randle showed up big one game, and the next game is off. Now you'd have to bench.
I'm just showing. That's why I keep telling Froggy, the impact of defense is,
it makes the offense easier.
Yeah, man, and then the offense of the other team, then
no, but if you look at it in any sport, say for instance,
yeah.
you have a elite defense. And you're going up against an elite offense that doesn't have a defense.
Listen, all day. All day, every day.
You're going
2007.
Offensively, you're going to be spent. You're going to be tired.
Yeah.
Defensively, you're going to create easier opportunities to take advantage of a weaker defense. So your offense is going to even look more remarkable.
Yeah.
So a top-notch defense in any sport, you name it. It could be an individual sport. It could be a team sport.
I was gonna go to your favorite NFL player, which is Tom Brady. 2007, Randy Moss, maybe historic in terms of history, maybe the greatest offensive team in history, right?
Yeah.
And New York Giants beat them with Michael Strahan and a defensive unit. What was it? Yeah, and a lucky catch. Two lucky catches at that. Can beat them twice. But if you remember that scoreline, it was something like 17-10 was the final score, something like that.
Yeah.
So I keep telling them it's a defense.
Even when Atlanta Falcons had Brady,
they
didn't have any defense. So they just run out, blitz, with an offensive prowess and just run a scoreline. And then, as I said, as time goes on, your offense is going to get tired.
Yeah.
And it's just going to open the game for a better defensive unit.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to run out of steam. So, as I say, you name the sport.
And you're an Italian fan.
Yeah.
So in terms of the football,
same thing.
World Cup.
Yeah.
Look at the African teams, full of offense. They can't reach anywhere.
Yeah.
I remember Nigeria, Akacha, back in the days, with all the skillful players. Argentina hold them and just give them a 4-4-1, 4-2.
But even your offense is going to have a better output if you have a solid foundation in defense.
Yeah, man, I think it all starts.
No matter what the sport,
yeah.
Just whether individual or team sport. Track and field is different, because
it's track and field a sport.
I think that's a topic for another day.
It's a sport. It's a sport. But it's a different kind of sport.
So that's probably the only sport you can't really be defensive in.
Yeah, and you don't need much cognitive things. It's a different thing. Yeah, a different
thing. Not necessarily. Sometimes you
can go around the bend.
If you do long jump, you just run and just...
Yeah, different thing.
You can't be defensive in a high jump.
Yeah.
Defensive in a shot put. Or defensive in a 100-meter hurdles. You have to attack the hurdles.
You have to attack.
Yeah, so track and field is
a different thing.
Yeah, it's probably the only sport, because I'm thinking now, which sport, Lara has a solid defense.
You have to have defense.
Tendoka.
Yeah.
And he pick his spots. One tip.
Yeah, man, defense, I know Peter and Froggy don't agree with us.
I think Peter agrees.
Yes, I've been convincing him of late, so I think because I tell him about his defense on the table, him think he's all offense, Peter in his mind.
He can't possibly think that.
No, Peter in his mind think he's all offense, but Peter is defensive.
I dare him to publicly come on this program and say that he thinks he's all offense.
No, he's defense, and that's why I'm winning so many matches.
He doesn't play tactical.
Yeah.
And then when he
Is-
do plays offensively, it's because he plays to set up that.
Yes.
And that's where his
Yes,
defensive
yes.
prowess. And defense don't mean just stand up and block.
No, it's a different
Defense,
thing.
you hide the ball, you push it around and all of that. You can defend offensively then,
Yeah,
so to
yeah.
say.
But in the NFL, what do you think the guys doing?
Yeah.
They're defending, but they're attacking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're defending the line, but they're attacking the opponent.
So back to OKC. OKC defense is top notch.
Of course.
From Dort, Holmgren, rim protector.
Every single one of them.
Arnstein. I mean, so if you look at the steals per game from J-Dub, Jalen Williams, he's probably averaging 2-3 steals every game, just like Shea Gilchrist.
Yeah.
I mean, the young guns off the bench, Casey Wall is coming in, playing defense, getting steals, and that turned to quick offense. And then with a running start, OKC, with the MVP, Shea Gilchrist.
Yeah.
Although I selected Jokic for MVP.
Yeah,
I
was about to actually think about
I mean, it is a regular season stat. I don't put much impetus on
number one seed as well.
Yeah, I don't put
Stats.
much.
How
That's
far
in the
was his
past.
stats off in comparison to Jokic?
I mean,
It wasn't that much
no,
of a
because
difference
Jokic
in
is the
terms of
first
stats.
player to be top 3 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. It has never been
Who
done
have
before.
the bigger impact? Who's more valuable to their team?
I think if Jokic has a bad game, Denver stands no chance.
But if
If Shea has a
bad-
subpar game, OKC still has a chance.
so that mean Jokic should have really been the MVP of the
Yeah,
league
but
then.
it just depends on your definition of the award. They usually give
Yeah.
it to, I mean, the best player.
But
the
I
best
can
team.
I can side with you with that one. I'll side with you with that one. If Jokic don't play, Denver have no chance.
No chance.
Yeah, I can.
And, I mean, people say it's an individual award, but somewhat it's more of a team award too.
It's a team
It's more
award, the
team
most
award,
valuable
even
player
though-
to the team itself. So it's
Yeah.
still a team
And
award.
with
The
OKC
impact
having
on the team
One
itself.
of the best records
Yeah,
all time. I mean, winning I think 68 games.
yeah,
Goes to
60.
show, yeah. And with their leader, I mean, a young gun, and I think it was voters fatigue as well. Jokic winning 3 straight. Even the one he lost, Embiid, I thought he should have won.
Yeah.
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 So, and I think he won one. I think I would have given it to Luca. So, but I mean, I don't put much. I said impetus on this MVP award because it's a regular season stat award, and it's not much.
And if Shea win this, it's rare that the MVP actually win the title. So
Not that rare.
yeah, but it's a little jinx to it, especially if you never win before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I'm hoping that well, I'm not hoping. I know OKC will win the NBA this year. Hands down. It's gonna be good try New York. Let's say good try New York.
Well, I
in the
mean,
finals.
if you're a punter, you can put something on Indiana.
And who?
Outside chance, Indiana. All right, Indiana going to the finals, man. I give them a punter's chance of rattling the nest of OKC because, I mean, they did it to New York where they won both games on the road. So they're a decent road team. If I think they can split the first 2 games,
Yeah.
win one out of the
Against
it can
OKC
make
in the
it-
finals, if New-
it can be an interesting series. So, I mean,
I don't see that happening. No,
no, I'm
way,
just saying
no.
for the
yeah.
viewership, we don't
Yeah.
want to see a sweep.
Yeah. I want to see a sweep.
You
You
want to
know?
see a sweep?
I want greatness, Bridget. We want to
No,
witness
I
greatness.
want OKC to come up against a little challenge,
Uh,
a little hurdle. Because you can imagine how have we seen people run hurdles where they hit the hurdle and they come back and win the race.
So that's what you want.
Yeah, it's good for TV.
Listen.
I don't see OKC. We don't see OKC.
The challenge was with Denver. That was
That was-
that
I
was the
told you-
NBA
I
finals.
told you who win that match,
Yeah, that was the NBA finals for you.
going to win the NBA. And I mean that game 7, me and you sat and watch it. And as Westbrook step on the court, I said to you,
I wonder if they're gonna trade Westbrook now. They should.
I mean, if they want to go further.
Maybe they don't see it the way we see it, but I don't know.
They're thinking
but
about trading a couple pieces, probably Jamal Murray to get
Jamal Murray to get who?
I don't know, probably have somebody.
I think that would be a huge mistake. I think Jamal
one
and
2 punch of Jamal
yeah,
Murray.
they
and
just
Jokic.
need more pieces around it. When they had KCP, now KCP left because of contract, wanted more money, and maybe they couldn't offer him that amount in terms. But KCP is a player like KCP, somebody who's consistent, somebody who can defend. D&3 kind of player, you know. And
People talking about Giannis going to the Spurs.
Giannis to team up with Wemby.
Wemby, yeah. That would be good for the Spurs franchise, but
To
Is
be
that-
honest,
is that
with-
a Spurs or Miami?
looking at it, I think Giannis probably should go to the Warriors.
Warriors.
Yeah.
Team up with Steph.
Yeah, man, go to the Warriors. You know, go to Yeah, as a wingman.
I tell you, the nature of the league now, the superstars teaming up. I don't like seeing it. I like seeing superstars battle against.
That's why we like OKC. That's why we like Indiana.
Yeah.
And that's why we like New York because it's not really. It's more of a balanced team.
Yeah.
You know, everybody know who's the big man. You know, nobody.
And that's the trend where the NBA going. Because we see for the past 7 winners have been 7 different winners. That's what we want. We don't want to see super team. We want to see my star versus your star. And the role players them step up.
Yeah. So in OKC, you know, you have a 1-2 punch. You know, Jalen Williams, everybody know everybody.
Yeah, he's a number 1 pick.
But he's a pick.
A pick. But
he's a pick. He's not somebody you trade for. He was a pick.
Yeah,
so that's good. So everybody.
It's somebody you pick over everybody.
Yeah, man.
Else.
Somebody where you there you grow with.
Like playground, you be like, number 1, you go for the best.
Number 1 pick. So it's not like what LeBron and these guys are doing and KD who's jumping from team to team. You know, He's a pick and them develop the pick within the club. You know, so that's what I like to see. So all 3 teams. They know who the big man is at New York. You know that Brunson is the big man.
OKC,
you know who the big man is.
Indiana, they know who the big
exactly, Halliburton. So that is how I think.
Minnesota, they know who the big man is.
Perfect basketball. To have a good, you have to have it like that. With Kobe, you know who the big man was, right? Yeah. In the last the 2 rings.
Boston, who was the big man in Boston?
Boston?
Yeah, who was the big man?
What I mean, who was the big man?
The Celtics. Yeah, what year they won?
Garnett.
You think Paul Pierce knew that?
Well, Paul is actually a big man, but Garnett was a leader at that team. But when we say big man, you know, we think of the man who will take the shot, you know. But no, that's not what we talk. We talk about who's the leader, who command the respect, who say, this is a play we're gonna run. It's gonna go like that. You got. KG was a big man.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, Paul Pierce go.
Why Lakers lost in 2004 to Detroit? Because nobody knew who the big man was. Kobe was fighting with Shaq, and Shaq was fighting with Kobe. You know, so that was it. But before that, Kobe knew Shaq was a big man. I'm telling you, the 3 first titles, they knew who the big man was.
What team was that?
Lakers.
Kobe knew that Shaquille was the big man?
Shaquille was the big man. But Kobe.
You mean the big man? Physical big man?
No, man. The go-to man was Shaq.
Shaq was MVP.
You remember that?
Yeah,
of course. But here what happened now?
And
Kobe,
you at some point you thought Shaquille was a bigger star than Kobe playing for Lakers?
Obviously,
I must have missed the whole of that time.
No.
Yeah, man.
I must have missed the whole
Shaq
of
was
that
a
time.
franchise player.
Here what's happening in 04
Kobe was
now.
an upstart coming up.
Here what happened in 04. Kobe started feel himself now.
No,
Yeah.
Kobe was giving Shaq slap because Shaq never won.
Forgive me.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly my point. But
the finals are lose to a well-rounded Detroit team, though.
Yeah, man. No, listen to me. There's no way that Detroit team's supposed to beat Kobe and Shaq. No way. The man them a fight even during the playoffs, even during the fight. Them fighting in the locker room and all of them things. So them never know who the big man was. So you have to know who the big man is. When LeBron lost the first title, when he went to Miami, him never know if his way the big man or him was a big man.
That's what you mean.
That's why I'm scored 4 points in the finals. Yeah. So the next year, wait, say, all right, you're the big man, take the team. And then them go on a little run.
I hear you. I hear you.
You have to have one big man. You can't have 2.
Yes.
Anyway, people, you know what time it is now? It's time for Primal
Sports commentary.
Well, I don't get a drum roll this time, but thank you guys. Listen, man. Recently, I was away, came back into Kingston, Jamaica, to Montego Bay, Jamaica, which is for me was an eye opener. It's years now I don't return to Jamaica by way of Montego Bay. So Primal Sports wishes to award Montego Bay Airport the coveted title of the worst airport in the entire world, outside of Kabul in Afghanistan, which I have not been to, and Bangladesh, right? I think we have the worst airport in the world. People from that side of the world, Fit FM and so on, forgive me. I cannot believe this is what the tourists who come to Jamaica see when they come to Jamaica. I've been to some, not high schools, secondary schools, and you know, Dintil or whatever those schools are.
The high school, yeah.
And let me tell you something. The condition of Montego Bay Airport is awful. It is dingy. It is dirty. The lighting is bad. This is what we're really telling people to come to Jamaica, come see. Guys, you need to see it. Going out of Jamaica, it look good, you know. But coming to Jamaica as presenting yourself to the tourists, minister, you can do better than that. I'm sorry. Primal Sports, I mean, to start off with tourism and all these kind of things, you know. But just one more thing. So I'm getting driven from Montego Bay to Kingston, and we are stopped 2 times by the police in that one trip. Now, let me just point out that I was in Costa Rica, I was in Panama. I never once saw over the week the police stopping traffic at any point, and those places don't have a crime problem, right? Is it a crime to own a vehicle, in particular a high-end vehicle? In Jamaica, is it especially one with bright colors? Is a crime, brethren? The man them stop the people. Driving in Kingston is a nightmare because of how many times the police interrupt the flow of traffic. I believe in Jamaica we should have human rights, if not equal rights. We should have human rights that says our freedom of movement should not be impinged upon by the government of Jamaica without probable cause. Is that asking too much? Is it right to stop me where every time I'm moving about in Jamaica? This is not communist Cuba or the Eastern Bloc or whatever else them have. You know, not even in China was I stopped like this. And you're stopping me every minute. The police need to find something to do. All right, I'm going to come off of this now. So the world champion of table tennis, we left it at about the semi-final stage. And the finals was played between Wang Chu Chin and Hugo Calderano. I think we actually made predictions. Who did you predict?
Wang Chu Chin,
yeah, you're the national coach here. There's a reason why you're the national coach here. Yeah, you're the reason. Yeah. And who did Mr. My man pick?
National champion.
He went to Calderano.
Yeah,
and guess what?
Everybody want Calderano win.
Listen, I know table tennis. I don't work off of feelings. I work off of what I see is going to happen at the table. And it resulted in a 4-1 victory. Kind of comprehensive at that. And it went almost what I was saying, where Calderano showed his game very early. But the adjustments that the Chinese made, which had to do mostly with keeping Calderano into the table and then attacking before he could get really swinging, was what Wang Chuqin did. And so they had results, and happy for China. Except this was the worst performance by the Chinese men's doubles teams in all history. You guys knew that? There was not even a Chinese pair in the finals. And if you mind, Chap, they probably didn't make a semifinals either. The Chinese are very worried, trust me. How could they lose men's doubles? It's a Japanese team winning, no? It's not even. I thought that the LeBron brothers would be a threat. Not going to hide it from you. Yeah. LeBron brothers are a threat. But to see an unheralded Japanese team win men's doubles over a Taiwanese team. Now the Taiwanese team good enough, but Kao and Lin can't play against Thing, man. So the Chinese are trying to figure out how, because that's the only gold medal they dropped, by the way, but they didn't even get a medal in the event. And the Chinese are all up in trying to figure out what to do. Who else need to figure out what to do? I have something. I always look and see how track and field is doing. And I've been looking at the top, Jamaica Sprint Factory, right? We produce all the great sprinters, and we should be preparing for the great sprint event. In 3 months' time, I think World Championships coming up. Japan, don't?
Are we the sprint factory, though?
I wonder, because if we're the factory, what are we producing? Let me tell you what we're producing. The fastest time this year is a man from, what that country is? Abdul Rashid Saminu, probably Ghana. 9.86. Fastest time this year. All the talk about Noah and Kishin. Second fastest time, a man from South Africa, Akini Simbini, 9.90. We come all the way down, Trayvon Bromell, third fastest time. Brandon Hicklin, Bayanda Walaza from Republic of South Africa. A lot of names I don't know. I'm looking for Jamaica, and I can't find a Jamaican in the top 10 performance, except at number 10, no drum roll, I didn't get one, Akeem Blake, 9.96 at the National Stadium of Jamaica, with a plus 1.7 win, So that is not even nothing to write home about. Just 0.03 below legal. That's what the Sprint Factory is producing. Looking for the other big sprinter. What's his name? I don't see any of them. Nobody appears within the top 10 of track and field performance. So at least they're the women, right? At least they're the women. The top fastest time was done by a lady called Tima God Bless, Nigeria. I mean, Tia Clayton is number 2. Yeah, it's clear. But then, when I look through this thing, way down that thing there, I see number 12, we have another Jamaican. Tina Clayton, fastest, second fastest time by Jamaica, 11.02. The other stalwarts, Sherika, congratulations, Sherika, is on her way back. So Fraggy tells us. Sherika is number 20 at 11.04. And Shelly Ann Fraser Price, Shelly Ann, who I will talk about in a few minutes, is number 22. That's the best we can do in track and field. That's what we have to look forward to. You say early season. So later in the season, we'll continue to watch that. You know, they say early season. Brazil have a new season to look forward to. New coach. For the first time, the Seleção has a non-Brazilian coach. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Carlo Ancelotti
Italian.
will be coaching Brazil for the first time. I want to see what Ancelotti will bring to the table. Because, you know what I do for entertainment? I watch the old Brazil. When I watch Falcao and Ronaldinho and everybody else, I get joy. You remember the days of what they used to call it Jogo Bonito? That's what I used to watch. But what I see them guys are playing, I can't believe this is Brazil. This is what Brazil come to. Brazil has fallen off badly. So I hope Ancelotti will bring back some excitement to football. I don't think his coaching style is going to help us, but that's another thing we will talk about afterwards. Now, I'm going to leave one. Congratulations to Usain Bolt, who is now the global ambassador of tourism. And I don't know what speed is required of the global ambassador of tourism. He can probably move from global market to global market in 9.58 seconds. I don't know that it fits with Bolt's qualifications, but I wish him well. So I hope that Bolt will help us to move the tourism product and improve the airport a little faster. Bolt adds to this his title, which he was also given by Digicel, Director of Speed. So he's going to use his qualifications as Director of Speed of Digicel, and along with he has a world record in the 100-meter to help us move the tourism product. Great choice by the authorities of tourism. And good for you, Usain. Maybe you'll recover some of that money that has been taken from you. Now, Reggae Boys. I watched Reggae Boys play against Trinidad, a team of mostly British guys. I watched Reggae Boys play against Nigeria. Commendable 2-all draw. No penalties. So that means Kaheem Dixon scored a goal. So everything is nice for me. What has the coach learned? I think the coach learned now that the British front line or the line of headliners is not as effective as a set of hustlers who play like how Jamaicans play. Kaheem Dixon plays like a Jamaican, as does Cephas. And guess what? They're the only two effective people playing frontline for Jamaica, in my humble opinion. The Cephas is a handful, and they have to foul him. And so we win the opportunities, namely penalties that we normally don't get. Cephas is winning penalties because they have to foul him to stop him. And Dixon is a good kind of, what you call those striker? Poacher type Jamaican striker. Showing also good stability and laying off some very critical passes, especially against Trinidad. And I'm happy to see the Reggae Boys send this lineup out. The only thing I would say is Coach McLaren, teach the Englishmen the national anthem. It's a disgrace to see the national anthem being sung and these guys are trying to mumble their way through the national anthem. We know you don't know the anthem, right? I know that Dixon knows the anthem.
McLaren don't know the anthem either.
Well, this is the point. You can't have man that represent Jamaica and they're looking around to see who know this song. That song is the anthem of Jamaica. And they really should learn the anthem. I will tell you that I like this new front line. I like the front line with Kaheem Dixon. He's not a tall crossing header or anything like that. But I like Kaheem's hustle on the ground. I like his passing in close quarters. And I like Cephas's disruption that he causes with his speed. Any objections, guys? No. No, speaking of objections, the ITTF just had elections at the World Championship. I don't know if you guys heard about this. But with all that took place at the table, and with all that took place in the table tennis, the real bedlam was at the elections. Because in the middle of the elections, challenge between a man from Dubai, and Dubai want to take over every sport, by the way. You guys knew that? Under the Qatar is Dubai? Qatar, sorry. Qataris are taking up every sport now, you know. They want to run golf, they want to run football, they want to run basketball. Just take my word for it. And the Qataris want to run table tennis. So the Qataris helped out with a lot of the accommodations, helped out with a lot of the entertainment, helped out with a lot of the food and groceries. And so a lot of people went there and changed their vote, and they had full bellies and they had a lot of liquor. They changed their votes. So they had about 200 and something people. And the vote was going split. And Petra Sorling, who's from Sweden, was a former, she used to play. Petra Sorling was in danger of losing her crown. And the vote was going on. And they did a roll call. And the roll call shows that this thing was split neatly, you know. And all of a sudden, there are about 18 online votes.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, the online people just come on the thing in the brethren. And votes start to come in like crazy. And all of a sudden, the result, which was going to go in Qatar way, was just snapped at the last minute by the online vote. In fact, when the man himself want a roll call, because you can't have this, it's only 16 online votes was there. And when the election's done, 20. And guess what the vote margin was? 2.
Yeah.
I hear that Jamaica president was there. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if she had a good meal from the Qataris. I'm not making any accusation. But what I'm saying, brethren, you realize what I'm in sport now? It's running like table tennis, where it's about the voters and not what we're voting about.
Politics.
Right. So the disgrace was the results were supposed to be thrown out based on what took place, the bedlam. However, the ITTF came back and said the result stands, but the rest of results, the rest of voting will take place later on. Why not just delay all voting, Dale? Why was Petra re-elected under these dubious circumstances if the vote couldn't proceed? You understand what I'm saying?
Couldn't proceed to beat the vice.
No.
VP
I'm
and the
saying,
rest of them.
and by the way, Petra had to flee for her safety.
I was about to
She
take
was
that
out
back.
of the country. As a matter of fact, one man get locked up. I have his name down here somewhere. There was a man who was thrown into jail the night. And he had to seek the embassy of his country, probably Norway or Sweden.
Not the night of the voting, you know.
I just tell you what, also you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Is all these things is going on in our sport of table tennis, man? Never knew that would have happened. So it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But ladies and gentlemen, final item for sports commentary, because I try and keep it peaceful and keep it compact. The final item is that recently a street in Waterhouse was named after Shelley Ann Fraser Price. And it was Akocha Street or some Akocha Road, and it was renamed Shelley Ann Fraser Price. Kingston and St. Andrew Mutual Corporation decided to bestow this honor on Shelley Ann Fraser Price. And when they were in the middle of the ceremony, Shelley Ann looked up at the sign and says, "But see, I know some name spelling now. They spelled her name wrong. They spelled her name wrong." And then, so it was a big disgrace. The mayor or whoever is the head of KSMC apologized to Shelley Ann Fraser Price. And he wrote I don't know if this is true. I was told he wrote a letter or something to apologize and say it will be fixed in short order. But on the letter, KSAMC was also spelled wrong. So that's sports commentary. What say you?
Typos do happen, people. Typos do happen. Yeah, you know, machines.
That's
you know,
interesting, no. You know?
how to spell correct. I said,
Yeah.
but the time I'm falling, I spell a lot of words wrong. You know, so.
I wonder, somebody gonna get fired for that one.
They couldn't look up the lady name, Bridget.
A simple thing like
Yeah,
that.
they couldn't just look up her name.
And even after
Yeah.
you do the sign, and you have to
How
put
many
you have to
hands-
actually put the sign there. You
many
never
hands
see that
have
the
got
name spelled wrong.
I don't know.
But even so, some people probably don't even know that it's spelled with a Y.
You could check the Gleaner, Bridget.
Shelley Ann.
There's no excuse for spelling lady.
I'm just saying they wouldn't check the Gleaner numbers. No, just automatically think name price. They might have a classmate or a friend that name spelled like that. And be like, oh, so it's spelled like
Potentially the greatest female athlete of all time,
saying.
and you get the name wrong.
I'm just saying some people probably don't know. Well,
I think
it's
they
not
could.
probably,
You know, it's like-
definitely
it's
the,
like
the person who did it didn't know it's spelled with a Y. Must.
So deal.
Boy, I tell you,
It's not like say it's spelled with a O.
Yeah.
That's how price spelled.
it's one of the greatest
Although
athletes
we
of
know
all
it's with a
time.
Y, but I'm just saying.
That-
I'm not making an excuse. you know.
If I can tell you something,
I'm not making an
if
excuse.
you're a sign painter, you have one job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm ever saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a big blunder. It's a big, very big blunder.
It's an embarrassment.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's an embarrassment.
Fix that quick, please. Fix that quick.
Yes, yes.
Oh
Peter
my.
touched on a lot of things from the TT to Shakad Field to.
Yeah, the tracks is early though, Peter. I won't bash the athletes them. It is early.
It's early for the
Although-
other athletes as
although
well.
trying
It's
to-
early for the other athletes.
But even the choices this month.
Okay, so you're promising me better and improved spectrum of
I
results.
think our coaches,
think
I
that
think
our
our
golden
coaches are
generation
good. Are good.
Our
That's
golden
why
generation has passed.
No, you
That's
think
all
so?
simple.
Well, our coaches know what they're doing.
Look,
They know what they're doing, Peter.
Before the Bolt and Shelley period, what was there?
The name means Merlin.
No,
Atty.
sprinting wise. We claim to be the
Gillette
sprinting.
Cuthbert, Merlin Atty, Raymond Stewart.
That's not true. You know what existed before in the beginning?
Hold on, Peter.
All right, go ahead.
You have Arthur Wint. You have
Let Peter go there. Let Peter go there. Guys,
In the beginning.
you have Dan Quarry.
In the beginning, there was nothing.
yeah.
No,
And
Peter.
wait,
no, Peter.
in the beginning,
Those
there
are
was
nothing.
nothing.
Those are the
And then there came Donald Quarry.
Yeah.
And Quarry was pleased.
So you
And
don't
then,
read Arthur Wint.
Yeah.
and
hold
Greg
on, hold
McKinley.
on.
Well,
No,
that's
we're
400.
talking about sprinting, Bridget.
That's
But
400.
they-
Wait,
all right,
let
all right.
me
I
hold
want
on.
to.
All right.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
there was nothing.
Mm.
And Frano,
Lennox Miller, don't forget.
yes,
Lennox.
that's true.
Yeah.
But
What's a
Frano,
factory? There's just one
Frano
half.
came and saw that there was no real men running in Jamaica, just a few women. And Frano and what's Bolt's coach?
Mills.
Glenn Mills came and they said, let there be speed. And then there was speed.
Yeah.
And there was speed for 3 Olympic cycles. There was speed. And Frano and Glenn Mills looked upon it and they were well pleased.
Yeah.
But then
I
came the famine.
They came the
There
plunge.
came a time of not plenty.
Yeah,
I think we were the factory for a long time.
Oh, no, but
3 Olympic factory?
No,
So-
not globally.
what's
When you
a
look at
factory?
when you look at high school and what we were doing during the high school, it's just that a lot of the athletes went
But
away on
junior-
scholarships.
But junior and senior two different
No,
things.
no, we had speed, but what made the change was Mr. Francis when him started to keep the athletes at
If you
home.
remember what I said in
I think that's where the
is
change
true.
came.
They
And
came-
Rudolph Mighty and these guys, Rob Bailey and all of these guys were superb athletes.
You know
before
what
they
I'm
went
reading
away.
in these new specs? The real factory of sprinting will come from Africa, probably West Africa. And now we're seeing South.
But
Now we're
East-
seeing South.
But
So
Peter, didn't I tell you that? That's why track and field has got to be the easiest thing because it's genetics. I
Yes.
told you that if Africa take up track and field in a serious way,
Tiboga said-
we're going to be in trouble.
So you're saying this is the rise of
But
Africa?
we're Africa. We're
No,
Africa.
we're-
Yeah,
we're-
we're
we're-
Africa.
No,
no,
we're a
no,
small
no.
country, but I
No,
say
no.
Africa as a
So
continent.
you're saying,
That's
no,
where sprint-
you're
that's where
saying that sprinting,
They're going to take over sprinting.
Sprinting is-
but they like football more.
can I tell you something? You made this prediction about table tennis at one point, that Africa would rise. You remember that talk?
No, I didn't.
I'm sure I heard you say it. You don't remember saying that?
No, but I know for sure that if the Africans pick up track and field, seriously, they're going to dominate.
But even
They're
so,
gonna, there's more talent in Africa than in Jamaica.
Our factory now right now is
There's more
sprinters.
speed in Africa than in
Wait,
Jamaica.
You hear what that man just said? You hear what the man just said?
So I'm sorry.
The man just said that Africa have more talent in speed
Easily.
than Jamaica.
Easily, Peter.
No, I think that's
bigger
disloyal.
continent,
I think that's disloyal.
No, easily.
I think that's treacherous.
That's blogger behavior.
Yeah,
Blogger
yeah,
it's just that Peter. It's just that I'm going into
Bloggerish
football.
behavior.
Football is much easier and
Yeah.
more attractive to play or to venture. in, You know what I mean? Football is a sport where all the pitting them want to play. You know?
Yeah.
It's more. You see all
Yeah.
the Ronaldinho's. Everybody want to
But
be footballer.
right now we're a sprint factory in hurls.
I give you that
Terence, our
for now.
hurdles is-
For
we have
now.
top-
For now.
We have 4 good sprint hurdlers in both male and female.
So
you
you
know-
know, ask you something, Ken. You think Tobago is what's transforming all of this thing in Africa?
No. What
As a sprinter, Tobago.
Where
Well,
does Tobago come
what's
from?
coming up?
Botswana? Where
What's
Tobago
coming
come?
up?
No, but I think you have more names from Africa now than ever before. I've never.
I agree.
Normally it used to be America,
Omanyala.
Jamaica and America.
Jamaica, America. Now you start here 1 or 2 little names, but them
Hey,
young
hey,
still.
listen, it's
Even the
all
South
over
African
Africa, you
kid.
know.
What's the name of the South African kid? What's his name?
Simile?
The
Not
tall,
Simile, the other guy.
the bull, the next bull.
Gold
Yeah.
goat.
Goat
Yeah.
is Australia.
Oh, sorry, he's African.
But
He's
he's
African,
Sudanese.
but
I think he's
Sudanese.
Sudanese.
Yeah, he's African.
Yeah.
He's African, but I just say, you know.
But it's kind of early for track and field season, although the trials is later on this month and you have to make the team. So
Yeah.
if you want to run fast later in the month, later in the year when you don't make the team.
What I don't understand, explain to my rampant ignorance. Are you saying that if I run fast this week, 4 weeks' time, I can't run fast again?
No, but it depends on the season now, where you want to peak.
Yeah.
Let's say you have training where you load up and you get
What's the
slower.
difference between your peak and your average running?
Then you want to peak at the big.
I know, but
big
it's not
events.
much difference. It's not
It's not a big difference.
It's not much difference.
10, let's say first thing, a male, you probably run 10 to 1 time, run 9.8. Big difference, 0.4.
9.8?
Yeah, you can.
A 10-2 runner is going to do 9.8 just because of periodization? I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
You don't believe so, Peter?
I believe a 10-2 man might crack 9.99 as a result of extreme training and
Peter, this
peaking.
is why Stephen Francis have a problem with administrators.
Yes. They see.
What are you trying to say? I have an administrator's mentality.
This is a problem. That's why Steve have problems with them because they don't understand the science,
I see.
you know, and the experience of doing all of these peaking and
This excuse was given throughout last year's Olympic year.
Yeah.
And we heard this thing about time soon come and time soon come. And guess what now?
Yeah.
The two people whose
Indeed.
camps were talking about time soon come, the three ladies, one never go. So her time never came. But when the two ladies went to France, they were convincing us that they still had one more bullet in the chamber. And they left France, tail between legs.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, not and they completed the Netflix series.
Yeah.
But abject disappointment. They did a lot of TikToks. They did a lot of thing there. But they did not much running on the
Yeah,
thing.
let's wait and see. But let's go on to football now.
Sorry about that.
I mean, right now, Champions League is first time victors PSG. It's in
Wow, Fraggy.
It's not over yet, but it's over.
Yeah, Fraggy
It's
soon
over,
call in,
5-0.
boy.
5-0. PSG won 5-0.
Yeah.
Big
so-
result.
Oh,
But I mean, I won't stick on the Champions League.
Yeah,
final.
we understand.
Reggae boys.
Yeah, man.
But
We'll move.
PSG, that's off.
That's after Fraggy. Say Fraggy want you.
PSG. Froggy's a Man United
What
fan,
front
don't talk
line?
about Man.
Jamaica we play a match June the 10th. Who we play?
The 10th of June.
Guatemala, I think.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
No, that's a serious match. So who is the front line? Is Kaim Dixon getting a start?
This coach must give Kaim and
So easy because we know
been
Cephas
complaining.
must start. We know Cephas must start.
We've
Kaim
been
have to
And
complaining.
we
start.
know Kaim must start.
Who? You know what?
Does Leon Bailey get a game?
So how does Leon Bailey
He-
and Kyle Dixon start? And them are great. Somebody have a bitch, Bobby Reed. Somebody have found a bitch.
Peter.
None of those guys are starters. Demar Gray is a
We
starter.
can
So
agree
we've
that
been-
these
Yeah.
two guys up front
Are the
He's
most
been
effective
Yeah.
two players I've ever seen for
That
Jamaica.
Kyle Dixon coming on 88 minutes.
Yeah.
85th minute. I'll be like, yo, give this kid more time.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I said,
Mm.
he's a poacher.
Yes.
Get opportunities and get
Yes.
a chance and
Yes.
score. Cephas is a man that creates, so we need someone
Create
there
pure
that
problems for defense.
going to poach.
Yes. Yes.
But when you look and watch the matches and see them out there playing, you can see them playing with a sense of passion
Yes.
and pride.
Even tackling.
Given the output
Yes.
that, we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. But
Yeah.
that should always be there where you have players out there that want to represent the
Yes.
country.
Yes.
I see Richard can score and he hold up his shirt and
Yeah, man.
kiss him back.
Yeah, sorry.
When you have players like Leon Bailey,
Yeah.
and no,
Leon
they have all this talent,
Leon
but-
Bailey spend more time on the ground than on the field, you know. Every ball him touch him drop. You know, I was saying to somebody the other day that I think Leon should just stay on the ground. But because he's holding up the play.
If down,
Yeah.
Kind of hustling and fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If we're up-
tackling.
If we're up,
Kaim
doing the
tackles.
same thing.
Kaim
Yeah.
tackles, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If we're up him doing the same thing,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
think-
for real.
But that's what we want.
And by the way, let me tell you
That's
something.
something that can be taught.
I must give.
privilege just-
I'm sorry. The Jamaican penalty taker missed. What's his name again from Cavaliers? KC guy.
Dwayne Atkinson.
Dwayne Atkinson. I'm sorry, misses penalties.
Is he?
But
Yeah.
if I must tell you the truth, is 9 of the best penalty kicks I've ever seen.
Yeah, some good
The penalty kicks were world class, man. Not even the keeper from Argentina could have saved them penalty there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were world class. So our guy Atkinson clearly wasn't as properly trained at taking penalties. He was trying for the upper pigeon. You don't do that in a penalty.
Even from high school, he's not really a
He shouldn't have been.
penalty taker.
He shouldn't have been picked to take a penalty, man. You don't lean back on a penalty. You ever see? Yeah, it's Messi tried that one time and missed too. You know,
Kick it. Yeah.
trying to sky a penalty.
No, once
Everybody
you
misses still, but-
once you
Come
lean
on,
back.
miss low, man, miss low. Don't sky the ball.
Yeah, once you
Richard
lean
King
back, that's
taking
it.
some
Yeah.
good penalties. I mean,
But
Richard King, you're a player. What
Yeah,
you say about
man.
Richard King?
Yeah, I tell you, I think he's the
It was a
best.
great penalty.
I think he's
It's
the
the first
best.
penalty
Even his
taker,
play,
right?
Even his play, as I said, the players that play with pride and
Yeah.
passion.
This is the guy you've been talking about.
Yeah,
I
Richard King,
I
yeah,
already
man.
said. Yeah.
Very
He
composed.
looked the point. I didn't know where he was from, by the way, because
Yeah.
I've never seen him playing for Jamaica
Cavaliers.
before.
Yeah.
Remember watch Cavaliers versus
Remember, man, remember.
They left on the other
But he took the penalty professionally.
Yeah, man.
And everybody took great penalties,
Yeah.
except for
even in the JPL finals,
Yeah.
he was first up, score again.
Yeah.
yeah,
man.
Very
And getting
confident.
that playing time, and
Yeah.
as I said, the passion and the pride, and you play.
So you
The
want Liam
country
Bailey? You think Liam Bailey should warm the bench, kid?
I don't think he
No.
can make this team.
I don't think you should on the bench.
On quality, he can't make this team.
I don't think you should on the bench.
You
So
think he should play?
so how I'm gonna play?
I think you should play Aston Villa where you at. You just stay and play.
Oh, you mean that for Jamaica?
No,
Yeah,
why?
all right.
Jamaica not doing nothing for him, so I'm gonna play for Jamaica.
Yeah,
Jamaica.
and he's shining a light on the team.
Hold on. Jamaica not doing nothing for him, so
He-
why
he
would he
said
want
it.
to play for Jamaica?
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
says, so,
Yeah.
Make we do a little thing. We don't qualify. We don't qualify. We
I
qualify.
think-
If you qualify, you got your Liam Bailey and the Reggae Boys. If you don't qualify, I'm going back to him.
I hear you about to say as talented. You think Liam Bailey is that talented? I don't think
No.
so. I think he's a good footballer, though.
I think he.
But I don't think he's that. To where I hear everybody talk about it, I don't think Leon is
Hey, listen,
that great
that
of a
purple
footballer.
patch that he hit for Aston Villa last year, I think.
Peter.
He had a purple patch. You
Peter,
agree?
they're playing with stars.
It was the greatest purple patch that he will ever see.
Peter, any good Jamaican player, if you put those players around, they're going to look the same way.
He was a purple patch.
You don't think Kaim would look even much better? No, playing Premier League with Aston Villa,
with his mentality,
with the players that surround him.
and I'm going to get opportunities.
Yes.
I'm going to get in the position.
Peter, that man probably lead the league in scoring.
I don't know
He's
about
a-
that.
No man, he will score. His score rate, strike rate will be very high.
What they would do, what the English would do is
I know him gonna get
they would
chances.
they would have mark him out.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I,
just
thi-
for
I,
him to
thi- I
miss.
think they would mark him out.
Remember,
get chances.
one thing about Kaim,
No,
you know,
no.
tell me one thing that what
Him
people don't
going to
recognize
get
with
more
Kaim.
bounces.
Tell me.
Kaim moves a lot off the ball.
I know that. But he doesn't. We haven't seen him.
not
And
stationary.
You know what he lacks to be in English football?
Yeah.
The English footballers rely a lot on the crosses and those kinds of things. And I don't. He's not a factor in as a.
In
You
heading.
know, on the height and all of that.
Eh,
but,
does he have the
him
skill?
tackle.
Does he have the skill?
I think
I'm
so.
saying,
I think
don't
so.
see it.
he should get chances.
You see him don't
Just
have, him don't have
score.
one, two touch.
I haven't seen him head the ball with fury at the goal yet. I've not seen him.
I think this kid. I think this
No,
kid
I
can
think
play
he's
in any system.
he's great, you know.
Yeah,
but
man.
I've just not seen any heading ability. You see, like how Boza can
I
hit the
think-
ball or Onandi.
All right, so we're talking
Well, I
about
think
Kaim.
given the
Hold on.
chance,
Anybody
given
know
the
what
chance,
happened?
if he get a chance,
Yeah.
he might go try sniff it out. That is
Of
my
course,
point.
yeah.
He's
Yes.
not the best talent.
By the way,
He's not the
But
greatest
was
footballer.
Duarte
No,
York a
hold
great
on.
header of
Don't
the
get me
ball?
wrong, you know.
Was Duarte York a great
But
header of
you
the
know
ball?
what?
No,
About
no.
him.
Yeah. Hold on, no. Some of the best strikers
Duarte York was
wasn't a great header of the ball.
But what him was almost him score a lot of goals.
Great
though.
positional sense.
Yes.
Great.
I think Kaim have that and more.
I agree. I
And
agree as
more.
well. And remember something, you know. Brazil has produced some really small forwards in time.
Yeah.
Romario
Bebeto,
was
Romario,
small.
yeah, Bebeto,
Kaka was
yeah.
small. They're tiny little guys. Kaka small. Kaka small.
But
Bebeto small, Romario small.
we're talking about Kaim, guys. What happened to Whisper? Anybody here from Whisper?
Not a whisper.
Not a whisper. It's quiet and
Not a
silent.
whisper.
Yeah,
And
we're
it's been
discussing
about
with
2 years now where
What do you think happened to Whisper? Because I remember when Whisper, I've seen him in town, living a good life, driving
Yeah.
roads,
high-end vehicles.
high-end vehicles
I
and
don't
all
even
this kind
know
of.
anything
And I think he had a child at 16 years
Yeah.
old. At 16
Was
or
given
17.
was given too much too early, in my opinion.
I
Was
think him
given
should
too
score
much.
a goal first in the Premiership before him get.
Him get too much of these things too early.
Yes.
And you never have to really. Well, I would say him don't
I
work
think-
for it because him the train
And I
in the
f-
early days
And,
him
and
go
the
through
thing
thing,
is,
but him
remember,
get too
now,
much too early.
his mentor would have been Leon Bailey, because Leon Bailey would be the big brother to him.
Of course.
So he's gonna
And
try.
they're from the same camp.
Yeah, man, I see him camp, man.
Same camp.
Remember
Phoenix.
Yeah, when I'm in the camp, Liam Bailey in Europe.
we have been at the stadium.
But them
Him
must-
from the
sir,
same
them
camp
must-
as in the mentor is not Liam Bailey. The mentor is Craig Butler.
We have been at the stadium and seen those guys turn up, don't? Dressed up in some big shorts and some Gucci and some glasses and all that. And that's the lifestyle that I think.
But
Whisper
I think I
has
said this about 4 months ago that
Yeah.
he's at this he's this I don't think he's focused on football. I think all of the things that outside of football is a distraction.
I think even his parents and all that, they were not focused on football. They were focused on the trappings of football.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. And it's disappointing because I thought Whisper would have been the next one up.
I thought so too.
You know,
You
Whisper
giving up
can
on
do
him already?
everything as a forward.
You
You
think
know.
him can?
Even so, that passion where you can sniff it out and you're on the field and
Yeah.
you play hard.
Yeah.
It's like gallery thing.
I had in my head of Kahim, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Last year he was
Talent wise,
yeah.
he's ahead. He's ahead
Yeah.
of Kaim. Talent wise,
Yeah.
he can head as we say.
Yeah.
He's fast and strong. Can
That's
kick
the
the ball.
difference. He does have that.
Yeah.
Kind that mentality. Him just
Kaim is a hustler.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, man.
I
It's
think
like
it's
him say, yo, I hate this, you know. Me not have nothing else, you know.
Yeah.
Football, my thing.
I think Kaim is
I
going
don't
to
know,
be.
what was his Jamaica team? In Jamaica, who he played for?
Kaim played for CC high school.
No.
Arnett.
Arnett. It's that Arnett Gardens mentality. I think. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Junglist.
Yeah.
Jungle mentality.
The jungle.
You see it?
Time flies and Primal.
Oh, dear.
The show. So
Yeah.
before I go, French show predictions. I mean, Soya Tech and Alcaraz.
Guys, Djokovic and Swiatek.
Alcaraz and Swiatek.
I'm going Coco.
Coco Golf. What's she going to get? Hit a purple patch?
Yeah, boy, I kind of think that maybe Sinner.
Sinner.
Yeah, Joker. I think Joker has come to the end of a wonderful career.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah. I think this surface is very difficult for him to win on.
He's
At
won on
this
it
time,
before.
No, I mean at this time on stage, I think it's a harder surface to win
Coca and
in terms of serving, and you have to rally a lot.
Coca and
Sinner and Coco,
Coca and
right?
Sinner.
Yeah.
Swiatek and Djokovic.
Yeah.
Swiatek and Alcaraz.
Yeah,
Next week
yeah.
is
Let us see.
All right, we know
We
what
shall
for the
see.
show.
Yes.
Yeah. As usual, I have to thank our listeners on Fit FM 96.7. You know, the whole Western region. You know, for tuning into Primal. You know, as usual, our family, the Primal 4K family. You know, Facebook fans, our YouTube fans.
And we do welcome call-ins. We you know, the number to call is 615-433-5674. Call in, we'll take your call, we promise.
Yeah, because you have a lot of shy people out there, you know, they probably just listen to us.
Yeah, people give me a lot of feedback, you know.
Yeah,
Every Sunday morning,
man, they
there's
don't want
feedback on me, you know.
I have to
Yeah,
chirp
man.
it outside of the show.
Yeah, I get a
But
lot.
when it comes to the show,
Yeah.
I guess
And if
we
I
do
say
chirp
any
it.
wrong thing, I get a text message.
Yeah.
I
As
get
soon
that
as I
too.
come off.
I get that too. There's no shortage of comments.
A
Yes.
good thing I don't get it, because people know.
You don't get the critique?
No, you don't get it.
I get the
come with-
critique.
No.
Yeah,
Every
you
Sunday,
can't leave out certain
This is
name
my
out of the
personality.
greatness of anything, you know.
Yeah.
This is my personality. I don't message my phone with that. No. You put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
as usual, we come to the end of another episode of Primal Sports. So thanks to all the listeners and viewers out there. Have a splendid weekend.
Yeah, look forward to the NBA Game 6 later on today. And I mean, French Open, track and field. And next week we'll have some NBA Finals preview. French Open wrapping up. And again, track and field is bubbling and hitting stride in the season. So next week we'll catch you same time, same place. Peace out and enjoy your weekend from the Primal Sports side.
Peace.
As I said, remember, God is watching now.
And God is watching. Jah is watching.
Jah is watching.
Jah is watching.
Jah is watching.